Okay guys, so today we're going to start chapter 11. It's a big chapter. Okay? It is all about what's called the perfect tense. And over the course of chapter 10 or 11 and 12, we're going to learn something called the perfect tense system. The perfect tense system is made up of the perfect tense, which is what we're going to do today in chapter 11. But just be aware that we also learn the pluperfect and the future perfect in chapter 12. So that makes up the perfect tense system. We've already learned the present tense system, right? The present, the imperfect, and the future. So the perfect tense system is for verbs. If you look on page 62, you'll see your new vocabulary. And your new vocabulary is a mix of nouns. Strange that they didn't give you verbs, but we're going to use a lot of the verbs you learned in chapter 10. Okay, so for verbs, we know the chart, right? First person, second person, third person. You have a singular side, you have a plural side, depending on who you're talking to or about, right? First person is I in the singular, we in the plural. Second person, you're talking to somebody, hey you in the singular, or you all in the plural. Third person, he or she, or maybe it's an it, maybe it's not a person, or in the plural, they or them. And we know in the past we've had OST, MUS, TIS, and T, right? Bam, ba, spot, bamus, spot, despond, bo, bis, bit, bemus, bit, despond, right? This is the perfect tense, and the perfect tense is used to talk about the past, and the verbs usually end in an ED. I walked. You talked. He studied. You see the ED? This is the perfect tense. Don't confuse it with I was studying or you were talking. Okay, that was and were-ing, that's imperfect. Okay, that's your bam, ba, spot. Okay, so that's something different. Don't confuse it with that. Okay. So we're not I was studying, we're I studied, period. Okay. So we have new endings. And they are E, isti, it. Imus, istis, erunt. Very different, right? What do you notice about them just at first glance? Kara. Good. MUS, TIS, and T. Good. So you still see MUS, TIS, and T. Yep. And really, that T is still there too. And the S up here, yep. They all start with what letter other than erunt? I. Yep. So let's see what this looks like. Let's do laudo, laudare, laudawi, walk. I'm sorry, praise, right? Okay, rule number 1, most important rule. It doesn't matter if you memorize E, isti, it, imus, istis, erunt. It doesn't matter if you don't attach it to the third principal part of the verb. That's different. You're gonna wanna attach it to laudo because that's what we've always done. We are now using the third principal part. So your endings must attach to the third principal part of the verb. Okay, so lao, da, wa is your stem. That's a must. Must, must, must. If you attach them to the wrong principal part, if you attach them to loud, it's not a word. Okay, it's not a word. Okay, so if that's our stem, we have our first, second, third. Okay, we have our stem. Lao, da, wa. That's the toughest part for you, is to remember to attach it to the third principal part of the verb. Lao, da, we. Lao, da, wisti. Lauda wit. Remember the V is pronounced like a W. Lauda wimus. Lauda wistus. Lauda where runs. I-M-U-S. Yep. I praised. You praised. He praised. We praised. You all praised. They praised. Notice all the EVs. We're taking the third principal part of the verb to find our stem. We're attaching our new endings, isti, it, imus, istis, erant. The verb should always end in an ed, unless it's irregular in English, like eat. You don't say I eated, you say I ate. You know what I mean? If you wrote eated, I'd still give you credit, but that's really ate, right? You don't say I drinked, you say I drank. That's irregular in English. A couple ones to keep in mind. Remember sto, stare, steti, and do, dare, dedi. Have irregular third principal parts. Stet and dead. Okay? So stet, 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 dead, 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 dead. Irregular third principal parts that you're adding your isti, it. Imus, istis, erant. Isti, it. Imus, istis, erant. I stood. Not standed, right? I stood. Do is to do. Do dare, to give. So not I gived, but I gave. So those are some irregulars that you need to keep in mind. Two other things. first? The be verb. Okay? Sum, es, sumus, estis, sum. Right? I am. That's in the present, right? Eram, eras, erat, eramos, eratis, erant, I was. That's in the imperfect. Ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritis, erant. That's in the future. I will be. Okay. The perfect, watch. Isti, it. Imus, istis, erant. You write out your endings, and then in front of every ending, you just put F-U, 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 and F-U, and F-U, okay? And that's it, that's the verb, okay? So that's a good way of remembering it, okay? And that's gonna translate to I have been. So that's pretty manageable to remember. So we're gonna practice with all of these verbs. You are going to practice by conjugating and defining all chapter 10 verbs, okay? We're gonna do a couple each day. Today, you're gonna do ambulo, ambulare, ambulawi, and clamo. Remember to turn them to use the third principal part of the verb. Okay, so ambulawi. And Maui. Okay, so you'll use the third principal part of the verb to attach your endings to. Okay, this will go in classwork. Okay. So those are on page 57. We are going to go through the vocab. Okay, let's go through the vocab quickly together. Like I said, the vocab is nouns. Okay, so that's a little different. This is not easy vocabulary in this chapter. There's not a lot of tricks to remember it. It has a lot to do with war, which maybe this will be easier for you to remember than me, but we are going to need to spend some extra time entering these into Quizlet to get to know this vocab. So we're going to be conjugating these two verbs. We're going to be entering in our new vocabulary into Quizlet. Those are going to be our two main goals for today. And then if we have time, we'll begin A. So let's just go through the vocab together. Animus. Animai. It means mind or spirit. You heard people say like animal instincts, like animal spirit, like animals and spirits, and sometimes we link those together. If it ends in a US and an I, it's what gender? Masculine, good. All right, arma, armorum. This is only used in the plural, and it means arms of like military arms. like I'm gonna bear arms, yes, to bear arms. Now, if you have an A-O-R-U-M and it's plural, what's your gender? Neuter, right? A and O-R-U-M in the plural. Auxilium, auxili, help or aid. Like auxiliary troops are like the backup, the help, right? U-M and an I makes this what gender? Neuter, yep. Now watch, this is why I said this vocab is tricky. It has a whole different plural meaning. If you use this in the plural, auxiliorum, plural. In the plural, it means reinforcements or auxiliary troops. Okay, so singular is help, plural is reinforcements. Captivus, captivi, means captive. U-S-I ending makes that masculine. Castra, castrorum. That's another only used in the plural word, and it means camp. Concilium, concili. It is the word for plan. And then you can see by the U-M-I that this is another neuter word. Just like camp was neuter, because it's only used in the plural. Okay, so paying special attention to some of these words are only used in the plural. Copia, copiae, it means plenty. What's a cornucopia that you have at Thanksgiving? It's that corn type thing that has the fake food spilling out of it. Yeah, the cornucopia. It's to signify that Thanksgiving shows plentiful, right? You have lots and lots. That's why they named it the cornucopia after this Latin word. So this is a feminine word. However, in the plural, copiae, copiarum means forces or troops. Fama, fami, is the word for a rumor. We can tell that it is an A-E word, making this feminine. So you can see we really have a mix of masculine, feminine, and neuter words in this vocabulary. But I hope you're kind of getting the feel that this is tough vocab. So definitely we want to put this into Quizlet. Okay, fama is not to be confused with fuga, fugae, which is flight. Flight, another A-E feminine word. Impedimentum. Impedimenti. It's the word for hindrance. Have you heard of a speech impediment? That comes from this word impedimentum. A speech impediment is a hindrance to your speech, right? It's something that you struggle with. Not to be confused with impedimenta, impedimentorum in the plural. In the plural, this doesn't mean hindrance, doesn't mean hindrances, it means baggage. Okay, why? I have no idea. Just to mess with you, I guess. So, do you see that this is weird? This is some weird vocabulary. Numerous. Numeri, meaning number, as in a group. Okay, USI makes this a masculine noun. Okay, just three more. Proilium. Proili is a battle. We can tell by the UMI that this is neuter. Signum. Signi is signal. Like a military signal, like a sign of battle. Again, another neuter UMI word. Tellum, sorry, just one L. Telli is a weapon. And the UMI tells us it's neuter. The difference between arma and tellum, okay, because they are both listed here. Arma is a short range weapon, like maybe a bayonet, okay? Tellum is a long range weapon, like maybe a cannon. Okay, so yes, they both mean weapon. One is short range and one is long range. Okay, so pretty fair to say that this is some pretty difficult vocabulary. So we are going to enter these words into Quizlet. Tomorrow I'm going to give you a little bit more time to practice with the vocab as well. We are going to conjugate a couple of our verbs. Okay, we're going to conjugate ambulawi and clamawi. The last thing I want to do is we need to update our cardstock, right? Because we have new endings. So if you take out your cardstock, your verb cardstock, take out your verb cardstock, and we're going to update that. So you're taking out your verb cardstock.
Miss Finley, am I done?
That was on the, yeah, keep going.
Oh.
That was on the, what is yours, yellowish green? Okay. And you should have this, right? You should have this, and what we're going to add is just this, right here. Perfect tense system uses the third principal part of the verb as its stem to attach the endings. So laudawi, portawi, abwi, egi, these you haven't learned yet. Perfect tense, have ed, the have is optional. You could say I walked. You could say I have walked. So if you see them put the word have before it, that's fine, that's optional. And then make sure you have your e, isti, it, imus, istis, erant. So you're just updating this little box here as part of the perfect tense system, of which we only know one part so far. Next chapter we'll learn the other two parts.